Welcome back, everybody. It's a chilly day out here, but we're going to get into this rifle that you see in front of you right now. This is the Thompson Center / Smith & Wesson Performance Center LRR. Not a super complex name. It is the long-range rifle. And this one here is in 6.5 Creedmoor. They also make it in 308 and I believe 243. So we've had this rifle in for a while. They announced this rifle at 2018 SHOT Show. And a lot of people wanted to get their hands on it, myself included. As soon as I saw this beast, I was like, I need to check that thing out. So I got one in. I've actually had it since I believe like May. So I've had it for a while. And the reason I didn't do the review until just now is that looking around, they just weren't in stock anywhere. Everywhere they were sold out. And nowadays, at least as I'm filming this review, they seem to be in stock in a few different places. So I'm put the review out, and if somebody wants to pick one up, you guys can do so. But before we get into all the details, let's head out to the range, check out the accuracy, see what you can expect out of this rifle, because it absolutely is a precision rifle, and that's obviously a key component of it.
Now we're going to see how this rifle groups. We have a few different loads to run through it. On the end there, we do have the Dead Air Sandman S, and we have in the rifle right now some Freedom Munitions Pro Match 140 grain ammo. We have a few different loads to run through it. We will see how it does. Glass on the rifle is the Trijicon 416 AccuPoint, and sitting in the CTK Precision Rest. I think that's pretty much it. Let's see how she does. Target's downrange at 100 yards. That's not too shabby there for the first group. We'll run through it. Next up is going to be some Federal Premium. This is their, of course, 6.5 Creedmoor load with the gold medal burger bullet in there, 130 grainer, so a little bit more on the lightweight side. We'll see how it does here with this load. It is hot today. Hot, hot, hot. Definitely over 100 degrees out here, so I only brought a couple mags so that way I could have to manually reload them and try to let the barrel cool a little bit. But yeah, it's smoking hot out here, so try to give it a little rest in between after this. Looks pretty good from where I'm sitting. So as you guys probably guessed by now, this thing does take AI pattern mags, if I can actually get this one out. So your mag pull will work. It does come with a 10 rounder though, but any of your mag pull AI mags will work, which is nice. They're definitely my preference. I find them to be much more reliable than the metal AI mags. Not that the metal ones are per se bad, it's just the mag pull, in my opinion, are better. So a couple loads we're loading up here is going to be the Federal Premium American Eagle. This is their 140 grain open tip match load. Load that a lot of guys have had good success with in 6.5 Creedmoor, and it doesn't really break the bank. So that's certainly a good thing. The next one up is going to be sort of a wildcat here. I have absolutely no idea how this thing is going to shoot these bullets, but these are 100 grainers from Gorilla Ammunition. So this has the Sierra Varminter bullet, 100 grain in there, so they're going to be smoking coming out of this barrel. And I have no idea how it's going to do with that weight, but we shall see. So we'll load them up here, fast forward, and then get on to it. Seems a little bit hard to extract those. I don't know if it's a different case Gorilla's using or what, but first load I've noticed that way. Another good group there. Last up, again, we're gonna have the American Eagle 140 grainers. See how that does. Ah! I thought we were gonna have the winner there for sure. Let's head down there and check them out. As you guys have already seen, the groups look pretty good. We had the Freedom 140 grainers there up first. Center to center, we're right at about 1 1/8 inches there. Then we came over here with the gold medal burgers. That one's tight, very tight. I don't really know how I'm gonna measure it. Obviously, I am gonna measure it for those wondering, center to center, but we are under a ½ inch there. So I think it likes that load. Then we came over here with the 100 grainers, and it shot those pretty well as well. Right at about 3/4 of an inch center to center with that one. And then the 140 grainers, that last one kicked our butt. But it's still a good group. As you guys can see, center to center there. Again, we're right at about 3/4 of an inch. So there is no doubt about it. This rifle can shoot, flat out shoot.
Getting into the details, we'll start out here on the muzzle and sort of work our way back. We have this 2-port muzzle brake that does come with it from the factory. It's got a nitride finish on there, and it's super loud, it's super effective. For those of you guys that are into brakes and absolutely having no recoil, that's definitely one to look at. It does have the 5/8 threading under there, you know, standard 308 threads. So you can mount any of your accessories, suppressors, etc. on there that you want. Predominantly, I ran this either with this brake or the Dead Air armament brake with the Sandman S on there. So it's an awesome brake in terms of effectiveness, but of course, tons of versatility out there with that thread pattern. Now the barrel that you guys see here in 6.5 Creedmoor is going to be 24 inches. The 308 one, I believe, is 20 inches, and I think the 243 is 26 inches. Either way, it's got kind of a heavy profile to it, but it has a gradual taper down, which anybody who's watched this channel for a while knows that I'm a fan of in just about every regard. Tapered barrels are where it's at, because back here towards the chamber, you have that rigidity, that mass just to soak up the heat to prevent throat erosion, things like that. And then moving forward out on the end of the rifle where you don't want the most weight, because of course that's simply not ergonomically optimal. It's a little bit lighter. Plus this one of course has the fluting as well. So this one also has 5R rifling. So 5R rifling, for those that don't know, as opposed to traditional rifling, your lands and grooves are kind of matched with each other. So 5R rifling, they're sort of offset. It's also sort of rounded in that regard to a certain extent. So basically, with traditional rifling, when the bullet goes through it and is spinning, that rifling imparts basically its imprint on the bullet, and it actually throws the bullet and the BC off a little bit and can degrade accuracy. 5R rifling doesn't do that as much, simply because when one side's pushing, the other side's not pushing as it goes through, if that makes sense. Hopefully a diagram will be on the screen and it will explain it way better than what I'm doing. That's one of the benefits of it, is that you have less bullet deformation. You also have better gas sealing, which gives you better velocity, which of course in a precision rifle and a long range rifle, take all that you can get, right? So that is a good thing. And then it's also, generally speaking, easier to clean and has less carbon fouling, or rather copper fouling, excuse me, when you fire it. The M-LOK portion of the chassis system extends about 13 inches out beyond the receiver, so you definitely get plenty of real estate to mount really whatever you'd like. If you want to mount lasers, lights, all that stuff on the side, or below really for that matter, you certainly could do so if you wanted to use it for hunting or something like that. You can mount a laser rangefinder as well. It does come with a Caldwell M-LOK bipod. The bipod is fine, there's nothing wrong with it, I'm not bad mouthing it. If you're shooting on a flat surface, it's perfectly fine, but it doesn't have a tilt feature to it. And as you guys have probably noticed, I shoot rather mostly from the ground. So for that, it's not really optimal, but hey, it comes with the rifle, so that's definitely cool, and it's a direct M-LOK attachment as well. It also comes with this rifle bag that you see here, which is a legitimately really nice rifle bag. It's got like some soft reinforcements in it, and we have our mag pouches, and I think it comes with a manual and a bunch of other stuff. That's our magazine. Yeah, manual, straps, zero target, so it tells you where it's zeroed. It's really, really nice all around. You absolutely cannot be mad about this rifle case. I'm sure that's not inexpensive, and it comes with it just like the bipod, so that certainly is good. But with those M-LOK slots that we have here, really you can mount anything you want. You know, if you want to mount a traditional swing swivel on there for like a Harris bipod, you can. You can just use a 1913 rail section like we have here and use the AccuTac or the Atlas that I've been using throughout the video. But really the world's your oyster there with that M-LOK chassis system. Of course, it is free floated, so nothing touches the barrel until we get back here to the receiver, where of course the receiver touches the barrel. But on the right side of the rifle here, we do have the Thompson setter marking, the long range rifle. All of those things are on there. On the left side of the rifle, just turn that around for you guys, we do have our bolt release, as you guys can see there. So if you want to take your bolt completely out, you can do so. A note on that, you do have to have the cheek piece that we'll get into in just a second kind of high up in order to clear it, but most guys aren't pulling their bolts all that often. But if you want to, that's how you do it. You just pull it back, press it in, and remove it. And then to get it back in, just the opposite. Now let's move back around to this side of the rifle. Our magazines, another awesome feature about the rifle. It comes with an accurate mag, 10 round single stack magazine. It's all steel. These mags are pretty expensive. Looking around, I think they're like 75 bucks. However, again, as you guys have probably noticed throughout the review, it also takes any of the AI pattern mags out there. And my personal favorite are the Magpuls. I think they just run awesome. I never have any feeding issues. Nothing ever hangs up on them, as opposed to this, which I've actually had a couple rounds hang up on. I have a few of these mags in the past. Magpuls are just flawless in my opinion. I don't know really why you'd get anything else, but point is it comes with a high value 10 round magazine. The scope on here is a Trijicon AccuPoint 4-16 scope, so plenty of magnification for most things you're going to want to do with 6.5 Creedmoor, and it has very good glass as well and dual illumination. But we have a 20 MOA base on there that also comes with the rifle, and basically what that's going to do is give you a little bit more elevation adjustments. If you're out shooting, generally with most scopes beyond 1,000 yards, that's when it comes into play. And the 6.5 Creedmoor absolutely can do it. Right conditions, right ammo, a shooter who might know a little bit about shooting, and you can definitely get some hits at extended yards beyond 1,000 yards with the 6.5 Creedmoor for sure. A fun note on that, whenever I get a rifle in that has bases on it, I immediately pull everything off just to see and make sure that they're torqued to spec and there's thread locker and all of those sorts of things. All of that was present here on this one. So, one of those small attention to detail things, this rifle definitely has it. So, moving on back, the mag well does have some flare to it, which I didn't mention earlier. We do also have this enlarged mag release. We also have an enlarged trigger guard, as you guys can see in there. The rifle's been checked about 1,000 times, but we are clear. And our bolt handle here is interesting. So, as you guys can see here, it's all steel. And one kind of indicator of a sort of a quality rifle, precision rifle, is when it gets to the rear, how much play does the bolt have? This one has almost none. It has just a touch. I'm not even sure if you guys can see that on camera. There's almost none. I fired some pretty high value rifles in my day, some Accuracy Internationals, like $5,000–6,000 rifles that are all custom fit actions. And this one is not quite there, but I mean, it's darn close. And for the money, it's simply impressive. So the bolt handle there is fluted, so it saves a little bit of weight there on the barrel, and it also is hollowed out, but it is all steel there. When you lock the action down, it's super smooth, no issues with that every time, and it's just super positive in that regard. We do have our cocking indicator here on the back of the bolt, and then our safety is a 2-position safety. Of course, that is on safe. Point to safe direction, press, nothing's going to happen. Point it forward, press, goes forward. And that trigger there does have the little dingus, as I guess Tim over at the Military Arms channel calls it. But that's a safety, of course, to prevent it from firing when dropped. And it's adjustable. So as it comes, at least mine did, it was right around 3¼ pounds. Brake, super smooth. There's absolutely nothing to complain about there. But you can lower it down to 2.5 pounds in terms of the brake. So if you want to get it really light, you certainly can do so. And one thing that's interesting is you can actually put the safety on and run the bolt without having to worry about, accidentally firing, and then put the safety back on when you want to fire. That's a safety feature I know some people definitely like. The rifle ships with a Hogue grip, and it's a rubber overlay grip. It has the Smith & Wesson logo on there as well. You can switch it out with just about probably 50 or 60% of the AR-15 grips out there on the market. You can't use any of the ones with the high beaver tail simply because of the way the tang is cut here on this chassis, but it has the finger grooves. It's very ergonomic to me. I have no issues with it and no plans to change it, but you can if you want to, just pointing that out. Now on the back end here of this chassis, of course we've already talked about it, but this cheek riser piece is adjustable, so that way you can set it up with whatever height rings and whatever scope you're using. I know some guys are using these huge objective lens scopes, and you need to get a little bit higher up. It's got a lot of adjustability to it. It's got about probably 1¼ inch, I would say, on the cheek piece. So there's plenty there, and the adjustments are very tactile, very positive. You're going to get a click each time you rotate it, and it actually has Allen screws that you can set it permanently if you want to. The same is going to be true here on our stock, or rather our length of pull adjustment. Same thing. It has these nice wheels here. They're all metal. I'm imagining they're aluminum. They have a nice anodized finish on there, and you can adjust your length of pull. You can also adjust the actual butt pad rather on here. It slides off if you want to do so, and you can put, you know, whatever fancy one you want to do on there. That said, again, I've had no issues with it, no reason to change it at all. Seems pretty solid in that regard. We've hit most of the high points on the rifle, and I'm starting to lose sunlight. The camera, as you guys see, it actually makes it appear a little bit brighter out here than it is, which is nice. Gives me a few extra minutes to rant. But one thing I didn't touch on is weight. So unloaded, without the scope and bipod and all that jazz, it comes in right at 11 pounds on my scale, so it's heavy. So that's a pro and a con. You know, if you plan on hiking miles with it, that's a con. The pro of it is it's very steady when you're on the gun. It allows you to make accurate hits without issue at range. And with the muzzle brake and 6.5 Creedmoor chambering, there's barely any recoil at all. Same with the suppressor on there. Recoil impulse, muzzle rise, none of that jazz. It's simply pleasurable rifle to shoot. The action's super smooth like we talked about. The trigger's great, paired up with a good scope and some good ammo. And as you guys saw in the accuracy test, it will shoot lights out. Cost, that's another thing we didn't talk about. Right now, looking around online, generally speaking, they're going to be about $1,100 to $1,200. So it's not inexpensive. But for the feature set that you get, plus of course you have the lifetime warranty with it as well with the Smith & Wesson Performance Center behind it. Man, it's an awesome rifle. If you're looking to get into precision rifle, competition, long range shooting, whatever the case may be, and you don't want to spend, you know, $5 grand on one of those rifles that we talked about earlier, this rifle can do pretty much what those rifles do. It does it for a lot less, and you're really not giving up much. I mean, like I said, you're over a $5,000 rifle for most folks. This is a much better idea. Get some good optics and a bunch of ammo and train with it, and you'll probably be better than you would be if you had a $5,000 rifle and no budget to train with it. So really, it's an awesome rifle. I definitely recommend it if you're looking, you know, for this type of rifle. This is one I would highly put on my list, and probably near the top of my list. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about this, by all means, post down below in the comment section. As always, you can also post over at my Facebook page. If you're not following me over there, I generally post all the videos there and post a bunch of deals on different accessories, guns, etc. over there that we just can't do on YouTube. And also over there or at my website, you can sign up for my email list. I send an email out generally once a week with the deals of the week, videos of the week, those sorts of things. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And I hope to see all of you in the next video.